if it's love. Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick, and this is yet another 10 minutes on dating. Why are we doing another 10 minutes on dating? I say we as though there's multiple hosts of this show. Well, I'm doing another 10 minutes on dating because, number one, that video performed pretty well on YouTube, and I have to cater to my subscribers. By the way, if you are a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. Truly appreciate it. All 14 of you looking to grow that number in the next few days. I'm sure it will. Positive thinking, as they say. Anyways, why am I saying if it's love and quoting a Bad Train song from the 2000s? I want to say 2000s. I truly don't remember if it was the early 2000s or the 2010s, because as I am reminded by the children in my acting class, I am old. Well, I'm not old. I'm 32. What I am is no longer young. I'm not old. I'm not young. I'm just here. So there's that. What I mean is, if it's love is a question that we bring up, that we think to ourselves a lot, because social media sort of both warns us about the phenomenon known as love bombing and bombards us with love bombing. What is love bombing? Love bombing is the idea and sort of the manipulation that comes up when somebody early on in a relationship really just piles on the affection, probably races to say I love you. And it's sort of a way of, according to pop psychology, I don't actually know how many psychologists follow this logic, but it becomes a way of manipulation and control. You have to, this person must be in love with me. And so that's any issues that come up, I'm sure we can fix them, even though the issues that may come up may not be red flags. They may be screaming red flags. They may actually be red flags that say to you, oh, honey child. Social media warns us against this. And yet we look on social media and we see all these posts of happy couples who have done everything wrong. And when I say everything wrong, I mean, I don't know. They seem to have done some things right, too, because they're actually in a relationship. So they say. But they got married after dating for 2 months. They got engaged after dating for a week. All those things. All those things that would make a logical person say, well, that seems odd. Right? So we ask the question, well, if it's love, does any of that really matter? I don't know if you thought I was going to go there with this. I don't know if I thought I knew I was going to go there with this. But if it's love, do any of the rules matter? And the answer is truly depends. Why? Well, because it's a question of what we think love is. Is love a chemical reaction? Meaning, is love something that you can reduce down to, again, I'm just looking, I thought I saw something on my window ledge. I did not. Is love something that you can reduce down to a chemical reaction? No. Attraction is something we can reduce down to a chemical reaction. We can reduce attraction down because we know the basic signs, and we know what happens. You know what happens. You see a pretty girl, you know how you feel. That's attraction, right? Love is something different. And why is love something different? Well, because love is what's there when the initial attraction, fades away. And I don't mean that people in love are not attracted to each other. What I simply mean is that the initial butterflies are gone. And that's important to acknowledge. I think that we have to acknowledge to people, young people, old people, middle-aged people. We need to acknowledge the fact that long-term stable relationships replace that initial attraction with something deeper. Because human beings wouldn't stay together for life if the pure basis of our attraction to each other was only chemical. And people would say, like, well, they stay together because they just had children and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, first of all, my doubting straw man. Isn't it fun when you do something by yourself? This is just an incidental. This has nothing to do with the topic at hand. But isn't it fun when you're just sort of talking by yourself and you can set up a straw man that you can argue against and the straw man can never beat you? It's great. But anyways, back to my hypothetical straw man. My doubting straw man who is no fun and I don't want to hang out with you. The evidence that human beings do have a tendency to stay together and we do have something deeper than chemical attraction is because even couples who choose to get married and who don't have kids, some couples still stay together. They still figure it out. They still figure it out how to do it. And that's an important phrase, and we need to recognize that. The couples figure it out. And they don't figure it out because, divorce is expensive and soul crushing and all that stuff. No, they figure it out because they actually do love each other. And love is a choice. I will submit to the court that love is simple, not simplistic. It is a choice. And I know for a fact that people who have been watching me in Scene Study will know I stole part of that from Neil LaBoute's Break of Noon. I am a shameless plagiarizer, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm shameless, and I'm not ashamed. But love is a choice. And when I say love is a choice, I don't mean that you ignore the things that are wrong with somebody. Love is a choice means that things that might be, let's say, annoying and not fatal. Somebody forgets to take the garbage out once in a while. It's not a red flag. It's not a sign of selfishness. It's not a sign that somebody is a terrible person. It just means they forgot. It means they're human. We shouldn't break up with people. We shouldn't divorce people, I should say, for being human. We shouldn't. If you're just dating somebody and you want to break up with them because you want to break up, just go ahead and break up. That's the purpose of dating. You date one person, you move on to the next person. Somebody might be super good looking and they might be a terrible boyfriend. It's not the end of the world. It happens. And they may be a terrible boyfriend to you and be an excellent boyfriend to somebody else. Has nothing to do with you. Does any of this make sense so far? I don't know. But if it doesn't make any sense, congratulations. Welcome to the conversation. Love is confusing, but love is a choice. And love is a choice to embrace the confusion and the questions, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, the sideways, all that good stuff. And I'm giving all of this excellent advice while I myself am still single. Does that make sense for me to give this advice? No. Is any of this advice any good? Maybe yes, maybe no. Some of it may be good, some of it may be shit. But that's okay. Because it's my podcast. And I can do as I please. At some point, I'm going to have to start sharing the screen here and getting more technically savvy. Especially if I'm going to stick on one topic. Because now we're going into 40 minutes on dating. And it's a heady topic, man. There's a lot to talk about. And there's a lot to talk about, especially when you get into how social media portrays dating, because you could scroll through social media and you can find, every post on social media is, this is the answer. No, this is the answer. These two were lying to you. This third thing is definitely the answer. And they do it for everything. They do it for weightlifting. They do it for dating. They do it for food. They do it for seed oils. It's been a big controversy lately with seed oils. I do not understand it. But we'll, at some point on this podcast, we'll get into it. We'll make fun of the influencers together, and we'll walk that way. We'll make fun of influencers together. It's why my audience will likely stay small but mighty, which is why I want to say thank you for being part of my audience. Again, if you're listening and you're not part of the small number of people who listen to 10 Minutes with Nick, well, first of all, welcome. Thank you for listening to me ramble. If you'd like to join, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, I think, on Spotify. Or, just hang out in the audience and just listen. You're welcome to do that too. It's a little weird as like the kid who sits in the back of the class and doesn't take any notes and just seems to be there and never registers with the teacher. But hey, do you, boo. Do you. Regardless, subscribe, don't subscribe. I enjoy having you here. I enjoy talking into a microphone. I enjoy taking up most of my dining room table with a microphone. I should use a studio, but why would I? I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great night.